Look, Lachie, besides your outburst last time, your channel's headed in the right track with 2 straight reviews in a row. Don't blow it this time, and you might be able to live freely in the real world again. But until you fall under my submission again, your world is mine. You hear that? It's mine!
It's Halloween, and you know what that means.
It's nearly f***ing Christmas.
Hey, you tried making a video while chained up in the digital realm void for a month. Anyway, we've got this bastard here again. Welcome aboard, you clown.
I'm the Darkness, the edgiest tool alive, here to make this review insufferable for everyone watching by pointing out everything crap about this crappy crapstorm of a crap game.
Well, you're gonna be nitpicking a whole lot because this game is absolutely fantastic, and it's taken me a whole month to get onto writing this thing because of a certain other game.
Not to brag or anything.
So Luigi's Mansion 3, ideally the successor to Luigi's Mansion 2.
Or Dark Moon as it's known as by the hamburger capital of the world.
Come on man, surely we have American viewers. So the story of Luigi's Mansion 3 begins with a beautifully animated cutscene of Luigi and friends taking a bus to a hotel.
Driven expertly by the chauffeur Toad.
Irrelevant, so they make it to a lovely hotel.
But what a surprise, the owner and employees are not what they seem.
A limited story for Mario games has never been a problem, as long as it's a little bit more than what we expect, which this is with the brand new character and villain, Helen Gravely, the hotel owner. She has an incredible over-obsession with King Boo, and as the story progresses, we see her ever-growing hate for Luigi grow.
Ineffective repetition.
As the underdog defies all odds and progressively invades the tower. And hey, your nitpick earlier with the animation shows this so well, with the cutscenes absolutely littered throughout the game. Even so many little details in the changes of Luigi's walking animations.
Hey, my nitpick was of Toad driving the bus.
Well, it's just funny and adorable, building so much character for even Mario, Peach, and the Toad in a game that's not even their own. You can even interact with them in the beginning of the game at the hotel lobby, just before disaster strikes to build tension and suspicion, but ultimately having you feel sadder as Luigi is inevitably tricked and tortured yet again. But all is amazingly forgiven as the stage is set with a pretty spooky tone. Luigi waking up to Peach's scream in a death tower, the floors now smouldering with fog.
Not the correct term.
It's an oxymoron for motive impact and pizzazz. And the mood of this game continues as you investigate the suites of the hotel's former guests, now missing at the hands of Helen Gravely.
And plot twist, King Boo.
God, you're desperate, aren't you? And it's a great intro to the game, having it feel way less linear despite essentially being an upward ascension through a tower. And the tower and basically the whole game itself looks fantastic, having a more geometric style that can be fully realized with the beautiful animations, lighting, and camera angles that seem to complement it really well and make the game feel very ominous, tense, or full of action.
Honestly, this is how you really do a scary Mario game, not just smear it with mud like the series' GameCube entry. The 3DS2 just couldn't handle a lot of these techniques, so the style just kinda left itself looking really quirky and stupid.
Luigi's Mansion 3 could honestly be one of the most beautiful games on the Switch in the end, coming in close with a certain other title, because of how damn expressive Luigi is with a bunch of new exclusively recorded lines and animations with every step he takes. I truly believe that not every game needs all this stuff to be great, but my is it breathtaking when a Mario game takes that extra step to make itself stand out, especially in a game about growing a consistently spooky and thrilling tone throughout. Another common fear for this game was that it would be far too linear, just as its handheld predecessor was, and fans hoped that it could be just as open as the original. It definitely goes for an in-between here, but for me, and I'm sure many newcomers, this is not a problem at all. Luigi's posed with the problem of an elevator missing all of its buttons, and a great boss ruling each floor, obviously increasing the difficulty as he ascends. The semi-linear structure offers elevator buttons here to be collected, but in some areas, especially the start, the order is really wonky of which you get these buttons, which is actually good because some more backtracking is required too.
Great, because everyone loves doing the same things over and over again.
Well, the hotel is actually incredibly fun to run around in and backtrack with your new abilities to test the limits of your exploration. And the backtracking doesn't get too bad at all in the end, usually having the game offer some incentive to return to previous floors, like a new boss or ability to hunt down. Even just giving you a break after a big moment or a significant chunk of floors have been cleared.
Dude, you're going so fast, not giving me any time to criticize your pandering reviews.
Not the correct term.
Well, let's just cover the first section of the game, because it can be so annoying that you don't start off the game with all the abilities.
Dude, no. Honestly, the pacing is fantastic in the beginning, as it introduces you to Professor Gadd once again and his new Poltergust G00, or Poltergust Goo, easily getting you used to the tools available, which is able to be skipped through very quickly as a veteran of the series. Now this packs a whole range of new features, but the classics are just the suck and the blow. You're hilarious, like a freaking child. It also has the dark light and the strobe light returning, but also introduces the new suction shot, burst, slam move, and the new character slash mechanic, Gooigi. We can cover each of these controls in the gameplay categories, the exploration and the combat, but the mechanics consistent in each of them is just simply moving and running.
Well, you can't actually run for a little bit, so a hasty getaway in the face of adversity can't be achieved with too much ease. Even Luigi's Mansion 2 had a run button.
Which in my opinion adds tension and a sense of urgency to the situation. But yeah, I guess I could see how that could annoy someone, so congrats bud. But for the rest of the controls, we jump to a major gameplay category, the exploration. Now each of the floors is decked out with puzzles creatively taking advantage of the G00, using things like the suction shot to tear strong things out of the way and sucking up basically everything in the room, because they amazingly gave physics to every object.
Whether this is a problem or not is up to you.
There's also Luigi's function as a dispensable little Luigi you kind of have to manage at the same time, except he can go through basically any grates or even spikes to these fantastic secret areas in the wall,
Or to pull a freaking switch.
but there's so many secrets to find, like the gems and booze, and they're all amazing, especially tons of cash you can trade in for gem finders and stuff.
And what can you do with gems? Is it nothing?
Yeah, it's nothing. So the traditional combat gameplay also returns, with Ghost attacking Luigi and trying to first stun them with the strobe light and then sucking them up with the poltergust. The use of Luigi in combat also sometimes helps, along with a few other new features, like the slam move that can be used to fight the ghost,
And brutally bash them into the ground repeatedly.
but after a certain amount of slams, the ghosts break free and you have to recatch them, which can be annoying in certain situations where they're just extremely hard to find and really strong. Sometimes it might be best just to hold on to them for a bit longer, except it's a little harder than mindlessly slamming them into the ground.
They're not that scary though, honestly likened to the bloody minions, just causing quirky mischief.
In very crowded situations too, you can slam other ghosts into each other and take down a whole bunch at once, as well as the burst move to kind of eliminate the problem of getting absolutely swarmed. But since this was fixed compared to the previous entries and getting completely overwhelmed, my literal one death in the entire game felt kind of justified. And speaking of improvements, we have the new boss ghosts ruling over each floor. Although the ghosts admittedly weren't that scary and were quite flat in character, these boss ghosts are very similar to the portrait ghosts in the first game, in that a lot are quite difficult to defeat and figure out how to beat them, leading to such a satisfying moment where you're able to execute an intricately crafted plan at your own hands. Now these ghosts also occupy a floor each, as I mentioned before, all having an amazing theme with the hotel aesthetic still intact throughout most of the floors. They usually have some kind of gimmick like the early shopping center theme floor, as Luigi is tasked to invade the fearful security guard's office for an elevator button using Luigi.
Come on man, I'm supposed to be the negative one, but the word gimmick has a horrible connotation to it. It's more like a theme, they're more structured than that.
Now just about the music quickly and the fact that it immerses you amazingly. There's literally a unique theme for each floor, and ones for catching ghosts on that floor alone, and the boss theme for that floor, sometimes even consisting of multiple stages. Sometimes they even include tension themes and other more luring, peaceful themes before the chaos of the floor unfolds. It's really nice. The soundtrack for this game is incredibly detailed and well thought out. Now because I don't want to ruin the game, I will say this section is filled with spoilers, like the type of spoilers where you're too scared to know basically anything, so please skip to the timestamp annoyingly flashing on the screen now.
A spoiler's a spoiler, nobody cares what.
Okay, spoiler minute, go! Okay, Basement 2 is not as bad as everyone says. It was a really creepy and disturbing environment that kind of broke up the linearity of the game at that point.
And the controls honestly aren't that bad if you don't suck at the game.
The return to Basement 2 later on as well was very welcome, as Toad mysteriously leaves video footage of him going missing, and you actually have to figure out where the hell he went to rescue him and improve your poltergust.
And the reward for doing this is complete madness. Destroy everything!
That backtracking relating to my earlier statement was really enjoyable for me, not only in this instance, but the one where you chase after the psycho demon cat. That cat, just as many other instances, was great in showing how creatively Luigi can be used, as the cat only targets Luigi and you have to surprise it from the back.
You're not even trying to make this PG anymore, are you?
The other awesome moments this game creates at high stakes moments are so good and actually pretty difficult and come at a surprise, like getting trapped in the castle dungeon with the walls closing in on you, or having to latch on at the last second to avoid being eaten by a shark.
Oh, you suck.
And the final boss and even Helen Gravely fight are just some of the best Mario bosses I've ever played. So thrilling and creative and...
Okay, surely we've passed a minute. I'm done with this crap, so just wrap it up already.
Basically, this game was one of the best games I've ever played. Clearly the wait was worth it, with amazingly impressive and expressive visuals, as well as innovative new ways to use the mechanics of the game. It's a truly special one that I recommend for literally anyone who has a Switch. It's a real challenge, but damn rewarding in everything you discover and defeat. This game gets a 10 out of 10. Goodbye!
Okay, that was just crap. I thought I'd give you another chance, but it was like you were actively arguing against me. Who even does that?
God, I have to have some sort of character.
No. That's enough.
Why are you doing this? What even is this channel? Why can't I have it my way?
Because no one accepts us like this. If you love video games this much, then why don't you just play them on your own, quietly in your room? If you didn't start this, I wouldn't have to be here. But it wasn't enough for you. You've had your chance to fix this, but you insist on making a fool of yourself. Keep things the way they were, the way they should be. Since you couldn't do it, I'm going to. Lachieninja is coming back, with or without you.